All right, everybody, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to show you how you can glue in your own spine reinforcement, and this is something that you can do with just a few easy tools. You will need something to punch holes with. I know you can buy one of these at a local hobby shop. I think Hobby Lobby might even have one. Michael's may even have one, or you can buy them off of Amazon. But this is just a leather hole punch, and I will show you how I use it. And you're going to need something to cut with. So this is a X-Acto type blade. This one's from Hobby Lobby. You're going to need a ruler. This is a piece of leather, and if you buy our scraps, you'll probably be able to find one that's going to work well for you. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. This is a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to show you how to use a piece of cardstock to accomplish the same thing. This is Tanner's Bond, which is a rubber cement, and this is a little bit harder to come by, but not impossible. So you can keep your eye out for this. Hobby Lobby may have it. This one's from Tandy Leather. You can also buy this online. I'm sure Amazon will sell some of that, but you will need something like that. Today, because most of you can pick this up, I picked this up at my local Walgreens, some Elmer's rubber cement. So this is what I'm going to use today because I think it's widely available for most people, and it's going to work just great for what I want to do with it. Now I have these two here that I'm going to show you this technique on. These are from our Second Chance inventory. So it's not going to hurt them to do what I'm doing to it. Also, it won't hurt your notebook to do this as well. So the first thing that I need to do is take out all of the elastic. So I'm going to do that. And we tie a square knot, which is easy to undo from the top, but not easy if it's being pulled on from the bottom. So it's a really good knot for that. So just go ahead and take it out. And then take out this one as well. Put those aside and save them. All right, so for the classic one, I'm going to show you with the paper here so that if you don't want to buy some scrap leather or some remnant leather from us, but you have some paper, you can accomplish the same thing, and it's going to end up looking really cute, I think. So this is some thin cardstock. I think it's about 1 millimeter thick. And it's actually the back side of a paper pad. It's the cardboard part of that. And what I did was I took my ruler and I measured the holes here, which they are 1 inch apart. So you can see here that they're 1 inch apart. And then I added 1/4 of an inch so that 1/8 of an inch is going to stick out on each side. So that's 1/8 of an inch on each side. I'm just going to take and do it this way so that I can see. I'm not used to working so far away from myself, but that's okay. We can do this. Just kind of slide it under there and get it nice and even over here. And then I'm not going to cut it here. I'm just marking it so that I know where to mark it. And then I'm going to line it up on the grid on my cutting mat so that it's nice and straight. And then I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to line that up on my grid so that it's also nice and straight. But I need to move this so that it's on a line so that I can make sure it's straight. All right, and then I'm going to line this up with this line here. So the bottom of this is lined up on this line right here, bottom here, this line right here, all lined up. Over here on the side, lined up. And then I'm not going to press really hard to cut through this. Instead, I'm just going to draw my knife across it a few times and just press down lightly. And I'm not going to use a lot of pressure and just cut it in one foul swoop because I did that before and I cut the tip of my finger off. So I don't want to do that again. And I accidentally let go of tension, so I have to start over. But yeah, I sliced part of my finger off. I don't want to do that again. We want a blood-free project. So yeah, you just keep going and then you're done. So that should be the exact height here. And it is. Now if you want it to be slightly shorter, which I kind of do want it to be slightly shorter because I don't want it to poke out the top. So I'm going to go ahead and take about 1/8 of an inch off. That way it'll be 1/16 of an inch from the top and the bottom. And it won't be poking out. It won't be poking out the top there. So I just eyeballed that too. Doesn't have a name, but it's a center finder. So it starts at 0, and then it has the numbers that go all the way out to the sides, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so to find the center of anything, all you have to do is stick this on here and then make sure that it's the same on each side. So let's see, I have 3.5 here on this side, and 3 7/8 over here. Gotta go this way. Okay, so closer to 4 on this side. Closer, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So that's the center. All right, so this is my center here. Okay, and so now what I can do is I can line this up again on my mat, and I can line this up here on my mat, and voila. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to find the center of this line. So you just stick it here, make sure it's the same on each side. It's very important to find the center, and this is for me the easiest way. That is center right there. Okay, and that's where I'm going to punch my hole. But I'm not going to do that just yet, because what I want to do, because this is something that you will see this poking out just a little bit from your inserts. So I thought it would be fun to cover it with some pretty paper. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have my center marked here. That's where I'm going to punch a hole. I'm going to take my glue, which I didn't open yet. Okay, so I'm going to take my glue, I'm going to turn this over, and you could use, for this particular part, you can use pretty much any glue you want, but I'm going to put it on here like this. Now with this kind of glue, you do want to wait for it to dry before you stick it together. Okay, so that's going to be that one here. Let me see how much. And then I'm just going to kind of make the same shape next to it. With contact cement, you want to do glue to glue, so you want to put glue on both sides, let it dry until it's tacky, and then stick it together. And you'll have the best results if you do it that way. All right. So, while I have the glue out, this stuff does not smell so great, by the way, not in my opinion anyway. While I have the glue out, I'm going to glue it on here as well, because we're going to need it on here. And just try not to get too much glue, because it won't look nice. So just try to get a little bit. You just want to get a nice layer of glue on here. So while we're working on the other piece, that can dry. All right, so So I'm going to stick this on here. And the nice thing about this glue, if you guys don't use it in your crafting, I highly recommend it because the paper doesn't wrinkle with this stuff, so it makes it look really nice. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out, and I have a ruler for this. So I'm going to cut it enough so that it can wrap around the edge. So I'm going to cut it just over 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Okay, that's good. You don't have to do this at all. You can just use the regular paper, but I thought it would be nice just to make it look kind of nice since it does peek out, and I just thought it would look, you know, cute, because I mean, why not? Having a cute planner is a drop of sunshine on a cloudy day. And this does not, you know, this whole process is not going to hurt your leather. Wow, that was loud. Okay, so now what I want to do is I just want to cut the corners, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space here so that I can just cut them. I have a 45-degree angle on here that I'm going to use, and I didn't know this for the longest time. But if you take this 45-degree angle and you line it up with what you're cutting off, you end up with perfect corners. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm using that 45-degree angle, and I'm leaving just a little bit of space. That way you get a nicer corner. Now when you use leather, you don't have to do all this extra stuff, but I think that it's worth doing the extra stuff for, you know, aesthetic. I think doing extra is what separates us from wild animals. Okay, gotta get that on the right line, otherwise it's not gonna work. It's tricky. I know I'm at the bottom of the screen, guys, but I gotta be able to see. Okay, so then we have that. And now what you're gonna do is I'm gonna find the lid for this because I don't want to cut myself again. That was dramatic. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take this and you're gonna fold it up. And I like to just push it against the mat and then push it over and fold it over and get it all nice and bent down, and make sure these corners can fold up so that they're nice, because you're going to fold those in and then fold that. It'd be a nice corner. So normally I would not use this glue, but it's the only glue I have today, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Normally I would just use probably a tape runner or something for this, but I'm going to use what I have because it's what I have. And I'm getting glue on both sides. And if you get glue on your mat, it's okay because it's super easy to clean off. Once it dries, it just peels right off. So I'm not going to stress out about it. Okay, let that dry a little bit, and then I'll glue it down. Okay, so that's dry enough now that I can push it all down and it'll stay. And then I want to get these corners and tuck those in. Very important. And then I can push that down as well. Get that corner in. I know nobody sees this side, but I don't know. I have peace of mind knowing that it looks good back here. Get that down there. Yeah. So isn't that nice? I think that's nice. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to punch a hole, and I'm going to do a rather bigger hole because 2 pieces of elastic are going to go through that hole. So I'm going to punch that hole directly in the middle there. And the reason why you want to do this hole first is because once it's glued on to the leather, you're not going to be able to get this in there to punch that hole. So get that hole done. Okay. Sometimes you have to punch it from both sides. Okay. So that's great. And now let's just make sure it matches up. Okay, I think that's going to work. Look how cute that looks. That's cute. I think it's cute. Okay, so now what we want to do, we already have, and by the way guys, I went ahead and did a second coat of glue on here just to make really sure, because this is not as strong as this. I mean, this is perfectly usable, but it's not as strong, so I did 2 coats. Okay, and now what we want to do, just because I don't want to deal with the mess. Okay, so put a nice coat on here. And it doesn't take very long to dry at all. Okay. Wave it around a little bit. Make a wish. Okay, that's good to go. So get that on there nice and centered. Make sure that this is flat. Make sure you don't see any holes poking out. And then press it down. Give it some impact so that it stays. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now that that's stuck on there, and I'm not going to try to pull it up. You know, if you notice that it's coming up, you can apply a little bit more glue and it'll be fine. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same bigger hole and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to see if it's the same size here. It's not, it's too big, so I'm going to go down a size and try it again. Yep, that's the same size, and now I'm just going to punch through. Okay, that's one, and now the ones on the side are smaller, so I'm going to adjust it so that it's another size smaller. And then I'm going to do these. And this one. And then I'm going to come over here and do that, the same thing. And then put the bigger one back up, which you just turn this until you get there. And then get that. And there you have it. So you'll see that the holes are close to the edge. And now when you fold your book over, you're going to have a very firm spine, and there's no stitching, and it's removable if you want to remove it. You will have a glue residue left over, but it is removable if you don't want it to be there, and it's going to stay there for a long time. I haven't had any problems with the ones that I have done, no problems at all. And I don't pick at it though, and I don't squeeze it, and I don't, you know, twist the leather or anything. I treat it like a hardbound book. But that is how you would use a piece of card, you know, really thin cardboard and some pretty paper, and some rubber cement and a hole punch to get this same effect on your books, and you can do this at home. And if you do this, please tag me on Instagram because I would love to see what you do and how it comes together. All right, so next we're going to show you how to use a piece of leather to achieve the same thing, but with leather. So let's get started on that one. We just finished up this one, and I am gonna say that I do prefer this over the other one. So over this, it's much stronger. So I would highly recommend this, but in a pinch you can use this. But just don't expect it to be like a super, super strong bond, at least not with this particular type of leather. Okay, so now I'm going to show you leather, and I've already cut this to size, and now I'm going to measure get the center, because we have to punch that center hole first. Otherwise, we'll never get this in there. Although there are ways that you can do it. Like you can put it this way and like hit it from on top. But I don't know. I just prefer to do this. So let's get that center. And I believe it was 3 and 5/8, I think. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 3 and 5/8. That should be center. That's exact center right here. And then we're going to punch our hole. And I want to use the bigger one. Yep. I'm going to punch that hole right on that line. I like to press it down just a little bit to make sure that I have it exactly in the center. And then punch it through. It's not exactly in the center, but I'm not going to obsess about this, okay, guys? All right, so let's take this off. So in case you're wondering what this is, because I know you all haven't seen this before, this is a cascade in the Mockingbird. This is the Nightingale in the Mockingbird line, and the reason why this particular one was second chance is because the label is peeking out from under the pocket and you can actually see it without lifting the pocket. So this one was second chance for that reason. Otherwise, it's a beautiful specimen, in my opinion. All right, so now this will go over top here. And I just want to make sure that a little bit is going to be inside so that it's not poking out the top at all. Yep, that's looking good. Now all we have to do, I'm going to use this cement because I like it better. This one's fine. This one's better. Also, I don't think this one smells as bad as the Elmer's does. But I'm going to get my paper over here so that I don't have a mess to clean up afterwards. And this, you use it exactly the same way. You're going to put a layer down. And this is almost at the bottom of the can, so it's a little bit thicker. But you're going to put a layer all the way over it. You're going to let it dry or set. It doesn't really dry, it's just going to set. Get nice and tacky. I'm going to set that over there so I can do that. And then we're going to do the exact same thing over here on our book. And I'm going to use the metal ruler to protect my edges. Oy. I have used this for a while, so it's, yep. Get a nice layer on there. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna let that get tacky. It is not as fast as the Elmer's, but it is also a little bit thicker. So we'll be back in just a second and I'll show you how to put all this together. All right, so I'm ready to marry these two together. And so what I want to do is I want to very carefully match up that hole right there. And then make sure that it is going on straight. Make sure that my holes are covered here, and they are. And it looks really, really good. And then with this kind of cement, it really needs the impact of kind of pounding on it to really smush those two layers of glue together and bond. And it will be almost impossible to separate this glue from this leather. So with the paper one, you totally can, but with this one, it's not so easy. We have a rubber mallet that we use whenever we glue stuff. We use a rubber mallet for that, and works great. All right, so there's our spine on there. Let me show you what that's going to look like here. Okay. And with the leather, it's squishable, so you can squish it a little bit, but I don't. I like it to be square. All right, so I have my hole punch here, and I'm just going to go ahead and punch those right all the way through. And if you find when you're using this that it's not going all the way through, take a scrap piece of leather and put it underneath, and then put this through, and you'll get a hole that goes all the way. See? Okay, and I'm going to do this side too, so that I only have to adjust my thing once. Okay, and now we're going to go one size smaller. Nope, that's exactly what I want to see on the other side. Yep, that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see just a very little bit on each side of that. Very little bit of leather. I should speak in complete sentences. That would be very, very helpful. Okay. All right, the holes are punched. The spine is straight, and the notebook is ready for me to string up, which I will do for you real quick. Now I'm going to put the elastic back in, and I do have a video on how to do this, so I'm just basically going to do it, and you can follow along if you've ever wondered how to do it. You can also go into our archive of videos and find the one on how to do it yourself. If I remember to, I will put a card up there, and you can go watch that video if you want specific instructions on how to do this. It's not difficult, and we've purposefully used the knots that we use so that you can change your elastics or tighten them or whatever you want to do, because I know sometimes you're just in the mood for a different color elastic than what we offer, and I fully understand that. So there we go. Just want to get a nice square knot. Right, and now let's put in the closure elastic. There we go. And that's done. So now when we put inserts in, it won't pull the spine down, which annoys me with thinner leathers. I love the leathers because they're lightweight and they're beautiful, and they come in colors that the firmer leathers don't necessarily come in. But what I don't like about them is that the spine does strange things, so that annoys me. So this is something that I do to all of my notebooks that are this kind of leather. So you can see that it's nice and square there, and then it's square here. That's what that looks like, and I really like it. Like I said, I do it to all of my notebooks. Oh, I also habitually push this in just to get it trained so that it comes in when I put my pin in. And then when I stick my pin inside there, and then I always put the elastic over the pin, and then the pin sits just like that. So it doesn't stick out of the notebook and be annoying. But here is a March hair that I'm using, and I did the exact same thing in it. You can see it poking out right there, but this is a little piece of tea house that I used. And here's another one that you guys have seen before, and I did the same thing to the spine here. And I have 2 more at home that I've done the same thing to, because I like this look, this squared look, and I don't like the spine to bend in. So that is what I do, and now you know how to do it too, and you can do it to your own. You can use paper. You can use a piece of cardboard, thin cardboard, and pretty paper. I think this looks super cute. And in fact, let me put some books in it, and I'll show you what it looks like with books in it. Do you not love this, guys? I love it. And this is coming out soon, so you know, keep an eye out, because this will be online soon, to have the cascading pockets in the Nightingale. Beautiful. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Here we go. And there's the books. I hope that was helpful to you guys. This is not a service that I will be offering here at Chic Sparrow, but I highly encourage you to take matters into your own hands and do the modification yourself. It's really inexpensive. This bottle, I think, costs less than $3, and works just fine for paper. I didn't want to use it on leather because I wanted it to be really, really strong. And so I used this one. And this, I don't remember how much this costs. I want to say it costs around $10. But I probably shouldn't even say that, because I don't know for sure. But you can get it off of Amazon. You want any kind of rubber or contact cement that is meant for leather, if you're going to do leather on leather. And I highly recommend this one. They have it at Tandy, and I believe they have it on Amazon. But yeah, and if you are a classic person that wants a harder spine, this will be well worth the price. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really had a lot of fun doing this with you. And please tag me on Instagram at The Chic Sparrow. I would love to see all of the things that you create. Okay, have a wonderful day.